And now we're getting you some news from Nepal, where at least 68 people have been confirmed dead after an aircraft carrying 72 passengers and crew, including 5 Indians, crashed in Nepal's Pokhara. All 5 Indians who lost their lives in the plane crash were from Ghazipur district in Uttar Pradesh. The Nepal army said that the search and the rescue operations will continue and bodies are yet to be retrieved. Meanwhile, the government of Nepal has declared a one-day national mourning today in wake of one of country's worst air crash in nearly 30 years. In addition, the government has set up a panel to investigate the cause of the crash, and it is expected to report the same within 45 days. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi reacted to the incident by saying that he was pained by the tragic air crash in Nepal, in which precious lives have been lost, including Indian nationals as well. Yeti Airlines have halted all operations for today. And to get us more details on the story, I'm joined by Mr. Amar Singh, who's a senior journalist from Kathmandu. A very good morning to you, sir, and appreciate you joining us here at Mirror Now. We have been tracking on the developments that have been taking place as far as the crash of the 72-seater Yeti airline, which crashed yesterday, where 68 passengers were on board and 4 crew members. Mr. Singh, what is the status of the rescue operation that is underway right now, and how many people, dead bodies, I beg your pardon, have been able to take out of the debris, because this crash was a massive crash, a massive tragedy that has struck Nepal?
Yes, good morning from Kathmandu. We usually don't have very nice news to share with Indian news channels. Last time, a year ago, it was Tara airplane air crash, which had also resulted in a massive loss of lives. And once again, yesterday, yesterday it was a local festival in Nepal that was called Maghe Sangranti, which is also celebrated in India as Makar Sangranti. And by 11 in the morning yesterday, like this news had started circulating that the news about this tragic air crash. This is the biggest air disaster in terms of domestic aviation in Nepal. There were 72 people, as you were informing the viewers. There were 72 people on board, and so far, 68 bodies have already been recovered. And as I was talking to the security early this morning, the search and rescue operation for the remaining 4 bodies that have been unaccounted for so far, the search is still going on. And to tell you about the details, what's happening a day after the disaster today, there were some 35 dead bodies that have been identified. The dead bodies are in Pokhara right now. Pokhara is situated at a distance of 200 kilometers from this federal capital, Kathmandu. So the 35 dead bodies are still in Pokhara, and the process has just about started. The process of handing over the dead bodies to the family members has started, and we can understand it's a very heartbreaking and a painful scene over there. And we can only sense the tragedy, the grief of the people who have lost their loved ones. I beg your pardon. So the 35 dead bodies have been handed over, and the rest of the unidentified bodies, out of the 68 dead bodies that have been recovered, the rest of the bodies of this, as you said, the Indian nationals and the other people, the unidentified bodies are being flown to Kathmandu, which will be done in a short while away from now. Over to you.
But Mr. Amar Singh, like you were mentioning in your opening remarks as well, that this is not the first time around that such a crash has been witnessed in Nepal. Earlier, it was a Tara airline as well. It seems to be no lessons learned for that matter, whether it's a geographical condition, the terrain over there, the weather condition, or for that matter, better inspection for flights and aircraft that may be leading to technical snags, and better maintenance of aircraft. Probably that is the need of the hour to ensure that such tragedies are not repeated in Nepal.
Yes, this is a massive setback to Nepal's tourism sector, and Pokhara usually is a very famous tourist hub in Nepal, and the domestic tourists from all over Nepal, they travel to Pokhara, and the people who come from all over the world, they also love to spend some time in Pokhara. So this is a massive setback, and this we have been the aviation sector of Nepal has been blacklisted by ICAO, uh, this this organization that looks after the aviation sector worldwide. And almost every year in the last, if we look at the history of Nepal's aviation sector in the last 20 years or so, almost every year this kind of a tragedy, but not of this large scale, but some kind of snacks or some kind of mishaps have continued to happen. And yesterday's incident was surprising in a number of ways, that in a number of ways, because like the sky was clear blue sky, there was no issues regarding the weather condition. And if you look at every other accident in the past, weather had some part to play with it. Some weather was always a very conspicuous factor in all these accidents. But this time, this is what has surprised many experts in the sector, that it was a clear blue sky, the weather factor, there was no issues, but still, how come that such a kind of an accident occurred? And yes, as you have pointed out, there has been efforts by the government in the past, and yesterday also the government responded by giving, there was this commission formed. The commission has directed the airlines companies to strictly monitor the condition of airplanes. But as it happens, once something has been done, it is always too late. Over to you.
Well, appreciate you, Amar Singh, for joining us with all those details, and we express our grief as well. Extremely tragic for so many people having lost their lives in a massive plane crash that took place in Nepal. As far as rescue operations are concerned, that is still underway. But like Mr. Amar Singh was also mentioning, there have been over 40 dead bodies that have been identified, but all the passengers seem to have lost their lives.